Fishes!
Hello, everyone. There we are. And here we sit. It's good to be here.
Sit.
Good to see your face again, brother.
This is Marcel.
Hello.
So
Hello,
what do you
everyone.
do, Marcel?
Yeah, well,
do a bit
what
of
a
everything.
question.
So you do...
You know what I do?
Yeah, everybody. Telling the world. So you do, obviously you're a director. You also write your own stuff. You do a bit of everything. You do a bit of visual effects. You do a bit of editing.
Yeah.
We've worked together with editing and some visuals and stuff like that. So how did you get into that?
Yeah, man. I see myself as
An artist.
aspirationally an artist. I hope to one day be able to call myself. Sorry, I'm playing with this pen over here. I'll stop making noises and stop fidgeting. I hope to one day call myself an artist, to have a process unique to myself. But at the moment, it's about filmmaking. It's about making videos, just practicing on the way there. That's the medium I chose to express myself in, is video, motion picture. And that's what I think brought us
What's
together.
your
initially.
favorite? You know, if you had to concentrate on one, what would it be?
On one of those, one aspect of it, it's to make ideas, to create ideas.
Yeah, but with
and
you.
to then and see them into reality. That's what it's about. So that's writer director and producing in between. That's what I do mainly with my time.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's just, I believe it's because it's the most powerful medium, and that's the one that I decided to spend my time on. And just in the car on the way here, I was just thinking about it again. I always tell you, but I just see it all as practice. I just see it all as practice, because that's what, like, Robert Rodriguez said. Like, if you have a turtle and you have a guitar, make a film about a turtle and a guitar or whatever. It's just doesn't matter how you do it. I just heard another director just say this again: make a movie every week or make a short film every weekend.
Yeah, it's
and that's the
content, man.
only
It's
way.
Practice and content.
Yeah, it's the only way to get better at it.
You actually come from a background, because you were doing like architecture and stuff like that. weren't you?
Yeah. So I come from, I come from a very kind of rational background initially. You know, I started out with mathematics. I thought that was creative, and I was just like, I'm going to create like mathematical theorems. And I thought that was like exciting. I thought it was unique, different.
Were you good at that though, Marcel?
I was legit. I was okay. I wasn't bad. I've always had a kind of inclination
I
towards
can
math.
see you writing on the board all these numbers and then go, I don't know what the fuck it means. But
Yeah, it looks cool. I did. Well, I can tell you, like, that was basic. It was literally my first artwork was, I called it maths.art. Maths. So that was just the scribbles from all of my exam papers and from learning. In the evenings, I would learn and I would just scribble down this whole thing, and I would make little doodles. I would create these artworks. That was my first and only artwork. And that's what got me into architecture school. I did that. I did mathematics, and then I did I did engineering.
That was it.
And that's when I did the maths art. And when that didn't end up working for me. It just didn't. I was in Stellenbosch partying too much. It just didn't. I needed something more creative. So I started out with maths. I wanted something more creative. I went to engineering. I wanted something more creative. Yeah. I went into architecture. I did that. I did architecture, and I did relatively well, and I practiced some architecture, and I just always wanted something more creative. And that's when I went into film. Still always wanting something more creative. That's why I'm into, at the moment, music, making music too. Because
I always that's the one thing I always forget about you. Because you always tell me, or in the past you've told me you used to, record music and stuff like that. That's one thing I always forget about you.
Not a lot of people know about it. I guess it's like, it is the most secretive thing, because I've always kind of just done it more for myself.
Yeah.
The music, even though I like expressing myself through a variety of mediums. Music has always seemed, it's quite personal, and it's more meditative for me. It's a kind of meditative exercise, which I practice by myself, sometimes with friends. But it's not really something that I've put out a lot. But I'm planning to. I want to. I love it. It's just also a very expressive medium, similar to film. You know,
I was trying to remember actually how we met. It's always like there's some close friends that I've got, and I always forget. Like, fuck, how did we meet?
Dude, I know. We met through Frans Berkels and Larissa.
Okay. Yeah.
Through them two, kind of combined through them also knowing each other.
Yeah, but I can't remember that time when we started hanging out.
I would actually say it was maybe Frans saying it was through Larissa. We all knew each other, but it was then through Frans that said, "Yo, contact this guy." I still believe he was still to me. He was like, "Yo, Marcel, contact Ryan Kruger. He's a big deal, dude. He's like." He knows his shit. Yeah. And it was, that you were doing a lot of music videos at the time. We were just getting into music videos in Cape Town. Yeah. You were doing some amazing artists' music videos. So we looked up to you, man. And so Frans was just like, I think you needed something, or Frans heard that you needed something, and he was just like, contact him. And I think I then contacted you, and then we started shooting. We started shooting things together. We've made like a lot of things together ever since.
Yeah, I still love it, man. Yeah, you're one of those friends that I have that I class you as one of my good friends, circle of friends that I have.
Good homies,
but we hang out every now and then, and then we catch up. You know, if we haven't seen each other like it was yesterday. But I mean, sometimes we go play some basketball. Sometimes, if we can find the right court.
Oh man, such a struggle in Cape Town, but when it happens, it happens.
Yeah, and then. Yeah, so I mean, it's cool. And you know, the reason why I wanted you on the show as well, being one of my good friends, but at the same time is, you know, we always sit there and we always talk about everything. You know, we always talk about like a lot of things, whether it's girlfriends or this or that or past and stuff. And it's, you know, it's always good to have those deep, meaningful conversations, you know, with you. Yeah. And
thanks, man.
So we are... Where you are now in your life, like what do you want to achieve? Like from where you are now, like where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are you working towards?
Man, mine is I just thought about this the other day again. I try to check in every now and then with that, like long-term, medium-term, short-term goals. I try to. It kind of gets vague sometimes.
Yeah, because just before you answer, because it's one of those things where I always say to you, you know, you obviously work very hard and I work very hard, but you always still have time to either go out or this or that. And it's always one of those things that, you know, I always said to you and to anybody, it's like, you know, when we want to create and we want to do something, there's no excuse to not do anything. When we have a weekend where we're not doing anything, or during the week, I know you run your company, but, you know, of a weekend when you're not doing stuff, I always look at that as an opportunity to be like, we're not doing anything on the weekend. We should be shooting or we should be doing something. And I always believe in that, you know, pushing for myself and for, you know, for others, for yourself or whatever, is to make that time and create that content, because we've all got a weekend free where we can shoot some cool content. And it's whether we decide to do it or not, or to write an idea down or to get that script. And it's just that one weekend. You know, because you get a lot of artists that are like, or people that want to start in the industry, and they moan about this and this, and you know, they moan about all these different things. But at the same time, it's like there's plenty of time you can get a bunch of people together to make a cool little short film. Yeah. You know, whether it's a music video or a short film or a little experimental, you know, we all have time, you know, to do that.
Yeah. It seems like I always see it as, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. Yeah. Hey, that's a philosophy that I've kind of followed with that kind of mentality. And it's just always felt like the people that I look up to most seem like they can do everything at the same time. Yeah. You know, even though they are the busiest, and it seems they run 3 companies and still have time for social activities and exercise or whatever. Yeah. And so I think that is that's just something that I kind of also aspire to, is like trying to do more than what is kind of preset that has been normalized. And because I think I just believe in the human beings, that we are able to do more than what we know is capable. But so yeah, it always seems like if you want something done, give it to a busy person. And therefore, I try and be as active as possible constantly, because I think that makes me more productive.
Yeah,
in
no,
turn,
absolutely.
You know?
I think you got to. I think you always got to be working on something, because I think there's many people that are dreamers, and there's nothing wrong with being a dreamer. I'm a dreamer as well, but I mean, like a dreamer in a sense where they don't put their thoughts into actions, and they're just, they're waiting for something, but they don't know what they're waiting for. You know what I mean? And it's that thing where I'm always like, I dream big, but I'm productive, and I keep myself busy to know that there's possibilities and things coming my way, but I've got to keep pushing, and the people around me, I've got to keep pushing to make bigger and better stuff,
Yeah. I think it's important. It's important for us, like you say, for us creatives, and especially filmmakers,
because when we don't
stay in practice.
Yeah, and then when we don't create, like, this past year and a half for me, I've been mainly writing and speaking to producers and investors, and I've been so down as well because I just want to create, and I'm like, I need to get back on set. I need to push myself, but at the same time, I'm still very busy, shooting these podcasts. I'm also very busy doing all the writing and looking for the end goal the whole time, where if I do this, then I could do this film. If I do this, then I could do this project.
Yeah. It's long-term projects, so it's not easy to start. That's kind of one of the things that we tend to do, is work in short form more often to kind of keep those wheels turning.
Yeah.
But also always trying to still trying to make that film also. Like it needs to happen, It's something that I feel deep within myself. It just has to. Yeah, we have to. We've been in film making and film production for so long. It just feels inevitable, and it just feels needed that we have to try the longest form of this medium that we've decided to explore. And I've been writing it, man. I've been writing it. We've been creating it slowly but surely over the last few years. But just the same as you, that the long-term goals, that the long-term projects that are in the making.
What made you get into film? Like, what was there any certain films in particular that you grew up with, or what was that thing that made you get into film, where we looked at it and went, I want to do that. That's what I want to do.
It was what was it for me? It was I guess photography got me into film. The visual, the creation of visual graphics, visual communication, like visual pieces, creating that, but with deeper stories, and that communicated to the masses. I found very intriguing. So mine is, like I said, I did architecture, so it was all about space for me. That's kind of where my abstract thoughts came from, in spatial creation. And then when I went into film, it was communicating that space within a story, communicating a story within to a certain type of space. And so that's kind of my route that I went into, So then came photography. So it was very much a spatial exploration with characters that can convey a story in a very visual manner from photography. Those all combined.
When you were younger, what did you watch? What did you watch when you were younger?
What was it? It was, as you say that, I'm thinking of Alf, the alien. Do you remember Alf?
Yeah.
And dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Those were some of my favorites just growing up. Yeah. Dinosaurs with the egg, with the legs. And what was it? And the classic Friends. And what else was in between? Highlander.
Yeah.
Highlander. Champions of the universe.
The movie or the series?
The series, man. Oh, the series.
Yeah.
The series is great.
I was the movie guy.
Yeah,
I was the movies.
But Highlander, But Highlander, the movie wasn't that great. The series was.
No, it was good, dude.
Yeah.
Highlander was great, dude. I remember my dad used to watch the series. He used to love it, so I used to sit there and watch it with him. but the sound, the intro to the Highlander series was good. You know, with the music.
Yeah, it was sweet.
Yeah. Dude, it's like when I was a kid, I used to watch like the A-Team or like Knight Rider.
Yeah,
or like
okay.
Airwolf. Like when that music, when that
true.
music,
I was also into those.
when that like music came on, you know, I'll have my like little A-Team van or my like Airwolf helicopter, and it would just be like that, you know, moving around, whatever and doing. And it was just like, as soon as that music would come on, you'd be like, oh shit, this is it. And you look back on a lot of that, like especially like Knight Rider or like Airwolf, it's like it's not good. The A-Team's still good.
Yeah,
but the other stuff.
Yeah, some of it does.
It was like the Incredible Hulk series. So when I used to, with Lou Ferrigno, so when I used to watch that as a kid, I used to love it, and then I went back like a few years ago to try watch it, and I'm like, dude, it's so boring because you just want him to turn into the Hulk.
Yeah,
and then he's actually only the Hulk for like a minute or two, and then he's done. You know.
Yeah, some of it. It's some classics. We just spoke about it the other day. Like which classics kind of. It's usually the ones that have to do with human mortality, like very human stories. Those tend to be the ones that stand the test of time.
What was the last film that you cried?
Oh shit, man! I've become quite a desensitized.
You see, as I've got older, I explained on the other podcast, I've got way more emotional. So,
oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
So on the other way around, so I start watching stuff and go, like, oh shit, this is hectic.
I feel it. Yeah. I feel it definitely, but tear shedding, not often. I guess I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But I get really emotional, man. I just went to go watch the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 the other day, and I really enjoyed it. It was just such a roller coaster.
We spoke about that in another podcast, but there was a lot of heart in that movie.
Yeah,
it was pulling at those heartstrings
and a lot of waves. Yeah, and it was just obviously extremely well executed, but it was just like deep stories intertwined in like a lot of entertainment and like beautiful visuals, you know. That was just cool. So I just remember being emotional, you know, at least 3 times. Yeah. And if I was able to cry...
I would have.
Maybe.
So I know recently you were chatting to me about, because you did a talk at the Comic-Con in Cape Town.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought that was really funny. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so we did it. It was my brother Reniku van Wyk and I... that were invited to do a talk at Comic-Con, the last Comic-Con now in Cape Town, to do a talk about post-production. That's all they told us. Please come do a talk about post-production within content creation, okay? That's just what they asked of us. And we were like, okay, cool. But they also said that this was kind of a workshop presentation. All right, so that definitely brought things to mind. Like, I guess it took me back to being a lecturer in design and architecture.
How to prep your work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How to organize.
Yeah, but so I went very... so we started putting this presentation together, and it was Reniku and I. We were excited. We made a digital avatar of myself in MetaHuman that I was communicating on through a screen. We had large screens that we had our whole presentation on. We did things, you know, in Adobe After Effects
and Premiere. I remember you said so the act before you was what?
And so so we had this whole presentation, and you take it back. But just before we go on, we get there and we get to the stage, and it's filled with beautiful streamers and content creators, like vloggers, YouTubers. The whole stage is filled with beautiful ladies that are all very popular on their platforms.
And then you turn up.
And with the crowd, full crowd, everyone's cheering and everything. And they end that presentation ends. So it's like next up it's me now to go on with Reniku, my technical assistant here by the computer, and I go up, and we start the presentation. It's still going well. I speak to my digital avatar. We play some of our work. We play our reel. People get excited. Wow, like cool work. We're gonna see cool things. And then, I start the presentation, and as I go, And so the first thing we're going to speak about is file structures and organizing your files. I just start seeing people leaving from the crowd. Everyone that was entertained for like the last hour or two, they were not into like seeing files now. And so I just start seeing these people, and like as the people kind of leave, which is understandable, you know, they weren't there for that reason.
They were there for the girls.
And we also weren't exactly prepared on the kind of presentation that we had to give, you know. I just started speaking about that. I see people leaving, and as they leave, that puts me off my presentation. So I'm kind of like, what
can I do?
When
Like,
you guys all
dance,
leaving, yeah,
do a little dance, keep them there. Oh, maybe they'll like this.
Maybe I try and make another joke that isn't on here, but that doesn't work, and some more people leave. And yeah, man, so that was funny. But me also not getting my mark on the presentation had Reniku disorientated because he was doing the presentation on the screen.
And then you said you skipped a bit as well.
So I had to skip a bit because I thought I can't do this bit. This is too boring. So I had to skip that. And then Reniku is wrong on the presentation, and he's getting frustrated over there. But overall, it was still good, man. It was still good. But usually we just had some.
I just love that story because you were so honest about it, and you were like, "Yeah, we started off, and we have all this great information," and you just read the crowd wrong a little bit, and you were like, "Oh, okay, don't talk about files. Yeah. People are starting to leave. Maybe I can do something else.
Yeah, more music, explosions. Yeah. Renika, do the explosion thing."
I can just see Renika there going, "Oh fuck, which screen should it be on?" And shit like that. But it happens. I like I said to you when you told me that story, I used to hate public speaking. I used to hate it. When you know, either when I was in film school or even at school, just standing up and doing a presentation or even reading. I went through the majority of school without trying to read in front of the class, and then you know it was just my nerves. I used to get so nervous, and then when I started doing those like master classes talking about my directing work and stuff, I forced myself, just like you said, you would force yourself more and more to do it, because the more you do it, the better you become, and you just get better at it. And when I started doing those master classes, I did like 8-10 workshops in like Germany. I went on a tour around Germany. I remember my first or second one was not so good, and I was like quite nervous. But by the time it gets to the third one, you just you know everything what to say, because it's like, I remember like my girlfriend at the time, she said to me, these are students and they're listening, and you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing, you're a professional at what you're doing. They're not there to question you. And I'm just like, oh, I didn't think of it in that way. You know, you're there to pass on the knowledge and give them advice and which way to go, and show that experience of stuff that you've done. And then I think once she told me that, I was just like, cool.
Yeah, it's up to them how they.
Yeah, it's up to them, and they're just there to listen and ask questions, so you can. And as I said, you know what you're talking about, so you're there to, pass that wisdom on, for whatever department.
Yeah, we spoke about it, and I've once said that I think the role of a teacher is mainly to inspire.
Yeah,
like that's kind of all you can do. You can, because like knowledge, anyone can kind of go read or go watch a YouTube video, or go get the information, get the actual facts. It's right there on paper.
Yeah, dude. I've seen lecturers stand there, blah, 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 read stuff, and it's just boring.
Fact two.
Yeah, and it's really just reading the audience and speaking to them and inspiring them, and so they know that when I do those masterclasses, I'm also very realistic on how the industry is, that it isn't easy or everybody would be doing it. It's one of those things where you could be working for 5 to 10 years with not so good money at all, and it's one of those things. But if you keep at it and you keep going, you're only going to get better. You're only going to keep learning. You should always keep learning. And then you get to a point where you're in a certain position where you're starting to make money, but it divides all those different people that will love it, or they didn't think they loved it as much, and they start to go in a different direction and not do film and stuff like that. It's hard because if it was so easy, we would be making movies every fucking month.
Dude, just ending that one, what you were speaking about, and to me, I see it as it's just purely about persistence, and that's something that sets the doers apart from the don'ters, the ones that make it. That set them apart from the ones that don't. It's just pure persistence, and it's so. I think it's as easy as that, but it's easier said than done.
Yeah,
Because
very much so.
You
just got to keep. You just got to keep at it.
Yeah.
You know, when I think about, that's why I always think about like auditions. How many auditions you actually, you know, as an actor, how many auditions do you do, and how many auditions do you get?
yeah,
Out of that?
yeah.
You can't be.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah, and because you get knocked back, it doesn't mean, you know, you should give up. You just got to keep going. They're looking for a certain person, and you're not it until the person that they want is you. And every single job, whether you're a director, writer, you know, there's only so many jobs, so many people, or one person for that job on that production. So it's, you know, it's slim pickings when it's, you know, when it comes to getting the job, and that's why it's a hard industry. Otherwise,
You have to make yourself known. You have to be known in the industry. So when someone is looking for someone of your caliber or of your skill set, that they have to think about it. Hey, I think about that just quite often as a director. Who do we ask to like be on the crew for each production? And those tend to be the people that are doing things, that are busy with things that we see. Like
and that's what I say. It's you know, it's about. I always say it's about getting that content, you know, out there. Whether you know, whatever job that you do, you know, it's you know, especially as a director or wardrobe or styling or whatever, you know, it's getting your work out there so more people know about it. And you know, there's that famous saying, you know, people always say, "Oh, it's who you know," which I can understand why people say that, but I always say it's not who you know, it's who knows you, and that's there's such a big difference in what I just said, because it's, you know, the harder you work and the more content that you put out there, and the more great stuff that you put out there, the people know who you are. It's like when I went
that opens up doors.
And that opens up doors. So like when I went to Cannes, you know, I was constantly thinking about, right, okay, I'm going to have this meeting, I'm going to say I've done this, and we just did Fried Barry, and we did this, and we did this, and you know, you're trying to like suck the dick just so they like you know. So you know, you're trying to get all this information across to show that, you know, like, oh, you know, you work hard and you've got a lot of stuff on your belt. And what was great was there was a lot of those producers and people that I met that already watched Fried Barry, and it was great. And that was like 80% of my work done for me, because they've seen my movie, and I don't have to like try sell myself now. They've seen it, they talked about it, and they enjoyed it. So that's half of like the stress off me now, because I'm like, cool, they've seen my work, they know what I've done, and you know, stuff like that like helps. You know, when
I love that, man.
You know, that other people have seen your work and they know what you can do, you know.
But I love that, especially about our medium, about the medium of film. Like it's not difficult for people to see your portfolio, because it's such a widely spread medium. But also, like, if you make a good film or video, if you make a good one, it's a pleasure to watch your work. You know, and even a good reel, as we know, like it's a pleasure to watch.
This is the thing. Anybody can pick up a camera. Anybody can make content, and you got to start somewhere. So I'm not knocking those people that make crap or delusional or stuff like that. But you have to start somewhere, and you can only get better. That's the thing.
I've made a lot of crap in my life.
You can only get. Oh, dude, me too, dude. I look back at myself as an actor, like 16 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I was fucking terrible. And then I look back on the, you know, the short films that I was making with my friends, and they were all like terrible. But it's all that, you know, that self-film school, you know.
As long as it gets better.
Yeah,
you know,
as long as it gets better.
If that thing stagnates and if you're the same, that is probably a sign to not carry on. I believe always. And that's...
Yeah, I know two directors, which I'm not going to name.
Yeah.
And you know,
or if it goes down, if it stays the same or goes down, it's probably a sign.
Some people are definitely delusional, and some people just haven't got what it takes. I don't know if mummy or daddy or granny says you're great and you're amazing, and they just carry on. And I've seen some filmmakers that just, it's been over 20 years and they're still making shit.
Yeah.
And it's sad. And I listen, I take up my hat off for anybody to even try and make a film or anything like that. And that's why I said you gotta start somewhere, and you gotta keep pushing, and you will get better. And you also surround, like myself, I start surrounding myself with people that I like and I trust and I admire, and the work that they do. And their work is so good that it makes your work look good, and vice versa. And that's why at the end of the day, you're looking at this image, and everything's on there. It's not just my work; it's everybody's work that's on this thing. And that's why I always say I'm a team player, and I always surround myself with the people that I think is great at what they do, because all working together. At the end of the day, we're all on the same team, we're on the same side, and we're all trying to do the impossible, and we're all trying to make this beautiful thing.
Yeah, it can only happen with teamwork. Like singular, we can only go that far.
Yeah, dude, I used to shoot music videos. Well, I didn't know all these different crew members. I was still learning, but it was just like me and my Canon XM2 getting pushed around on like a business chair, zooming in and zooming out, and all that stuff. Those, but it's it's that learning
on trolleys, on skateboards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's that learning process as you go along.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Those are, I think, invaluable experiences that we have, and it's just always to creatively problem solve, to solve the problems that come up on set. I always just that's kind of what we learn.
I mean, dude, if you're not learning, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I think you should be a bit scared to go into a project. You should be a bit nervous to go into a project. You should be, it's good, and there's nothing better, and it's, and some people probably won't admit it, but it's like, it's good to learn something new, and when you are learning something new, you're growing. Yeah. So it's great to have that, that wheel turning, where you're like, fuck, I learned this today. Fuck, I didn't know this. I didn't know that, and as time goes on, it just, your growth in your work and everything just gets better.
Yeah. No, it's and it's needed, man. Like, why else? Why else do it? We're here to grow, to thrive. That's the only thing humans tend to do. As we go from a state of chaos, to a state of from a state of structure to a state of chaos. I believe that's what all matter kind of does. And so we will always be changing, and we will always be dying. I think I've heard something of, who was that? I think Shia LaBeouf said this, that in order to change, you have to let some part of yourself die. You have to let some part go. And I believe that. And just, it's kind of proof is like we die. That's why I said initially, like, I kind of have become desensitized, I feel, to the world. But just because, like, each part, like, parts of passion sometimes die, with the client, with the wrong client.
But I remember feeling like that in the past.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, as I got older, I just got way more emotional. So, I my story, like, I think it's been like 7 years now or something already, where, I went through a bit of a health scare and stuff like that. And when you go through something like that, which I've explained and told you about, and not for this podcast today, but another time, is that once you go through either a life-threatening thing or a health scare or whatever, that you start to think about a lot of shit that you don't normally think about.
Yeah, that's.
So I know you had a bit of a health scare, so
man.
Tell me about that.
No, that is what I also thought about it when speaking about letting parts of yourself die. And I guess, having had thyroid cancer scare, a lump on my throat one day, went to 2 doctors. They said, it's probably nothing. 3rd doctor did an autopsy, saw, holy hell, there is a cancerous lymph node that was proven to be thyroid cancer, man. So, so I had to get operated.
But when they told you that, what the fuck was going on in your head? What were you thinking?
Yeah, that was definitely the first thing is, and I guess it's very natural and very normal for people, but I was like, I'm done for.
Yeah, same as me.
Is it? I always let parts of myself die.
That's why people say, that's why when people say don't Google, if something's wrong with you, like, you're gonna die.
Yeah, that's all first Google. Yeah. I told you I know a guy that started a company called Cancer Dojo that's trying to change that. Like the way, because it's so mental. It's a very mental game. How you Google and
people don't go to the doctors just because of so. Like, you know, like when there was something wrong with me, for the longest time, I didn't even want to go to the doctor because I just knew it was something bad, you know, and that does something to your brain. And if you do Google anything, you're just like,
yeah, no, it's proven to make it worse if you think bad.
That's why it's that mental health, dude.
And if you think positively about it, you will survive.
But what did you feel? What did when they told
So mine was.
What did
I was like, I'm done for. I'm just, I'm done for. This is probably it, because I used to smoke cigarettes my whole life. I did. But I mean, I lived a very reckless life, a very long, prosperous, beautiful, loved my life, but reckless and dangerous and, extreme. It's just been quite extreme for a long time, because I also have a lot of energy, so I do a lot of things. Sometimes it gets dangerous. But so I was like, oh, this is what I get for living a life like that. That's where I'm getting with that. Those were my first thoughts. It's like, Marcel, you knew it. You knew when you did all those things in your past, this was coming. So now it's here. And what are you going to do about it? And I was just like, we're gonna do what we do best. We're gonna live life. I had a natural greater lust for life, like wanting to do everything that I've always set my mind on. We procrastinate too easily. There are too many.
Like a recap on life where you're not doing, what you should be doing, and just pushing that.
Very much. And it's just like the 10 projects that you've always had in the back of, on your hard drives, those need to get finished. Those need to finish up. The music album needs to be created. The film needs to be done. Like, space needs to be created. The message needs to be conveyed.
Don't you think it's weird that it takes something so bad to happen to you, or something so scary to put your ass into gear to be like, fuck, what am I doing? Because that's what it did for me. I was just like, and even before it happened, I knew what I wanted to do, and I was very ambitious, and I did push myself. But it was just like another wall that I broke down, going, what am I doing? Like, I can do this now. If I wanted to, I can do it now. Like, what am I waiting for? And at that time, I was lucky to have the money that I had at the time to put something into a project. But it just broke down that wall because that bad thing happened to me, and I thought, fuck, this is it. I'm just going to do it. So, did you feel like that, where you were just like, it was like that reset button where you were like, shit, okay, this is hectic, and now I need to open my eyes a bit more and be like, fuck, I haven't done this, and this, and I still need to do that. No matter what happens, I need to do it,
Very much, man. But it almost feels like those are the way, that is the way that life works. Like that's like, we get intense scares, and then we have to grow out of it. And then we get pushed down, we get pushed over, and you have to just get back up. That's a part of what I felt after this too. How I've grown after it.
Didn't Rocky say that?
What is it?
You gotta get back up.
Okay.
But dude,
if you get pushed down, you get back up.
But it is so true that dude, that's, I mean, like you said, if you sit there in your thoughts, dude, like, it's all up to you. Like, if you sit there and bad thoughts, dude, you're just gonna shrink, and you're just gonna go into this fucking hole.
What you do, you get the news, you work through it, you go step by step.
And it doesn't matter what anybody says to you either. It's just like, it's easy to put a smile on your face and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who says what to you. I know people are trying to support you, but it doesn't matter what anybody says to you. It's actually up to you to break out of it, because they don't know what's going on in your head.
Oh man. But yeah, so that was definitely a milestone in my life, for sure. And I'd also say it was a trough, a valley, no? Troughs and valleys. It was
mountain.
Yeah, it was definitely it was one of the worst times of my life for sure. Like I come out of quite a dark few years of my life, but I feel like I've had quite a blessed life so far. So like a few years of bad is not that bad for me. But so I'm feeling like I'm getting out of it now, man.
That's good, dude. That's good. Well, that's why from then till now, obviously, us meeting up, that you're a positive guy, So I mean,
I'm a positive dude. 99% of the time, I'm in a positive mood.
And then not so long ago, we had we always say this to all the friends. We had so my mum came down from England. And we had like a little, what do we call it?
We had a little mom
play
date.
Yeah, a little play date.
We had a little double date with moms.
Yeah. So it was your mum, my mum, and me and you. We were just like,
dude,
two
that was
kids.
the cutest. I still get photo memories from that day just on my phone.
That was cool.
And I see we took little selfies. My mom and your mom went to they went to go play there in the corner for a little bit. You and I talking some business, and then. It was just a very cute day, man.
Like 25 years earlier, it's just like two mums like talking. We're just like got our cars in the corner, just playing with our toys.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just exactly. They looked over every now and then. Oh, cute! Look at the boys.
So proud. So originally you thought this was just audio.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So Marcel wanted to do his hair. Have his some nice clothes on.
I like style. I think
chains can be seen.
Can you see the shine? Can you see the blingy bling? Man, I just find style very important. Just overall, just style.
Fine. You look fine.
Well, thanks, man. I look like Uncle Bob, your neighbor.
You got your granddad's golfing jacket on.
This was my granddad's jacket, actually. It really was. But this one is called. What is this? This is called a Harrington jacket. A friend, Ralph Borland, told me that once. This is a Harrington jacket, taken from the old pilot jacket, I believe. But I find style important, and I didn't know this was going to be a video and audio. I thought it was going to be audio only. I dressed.
When you turned up, I was like, okay, he's done his hair nicely. He's wearing some nice clothes.
No, this is my Thursday afternoon. Tired of clients and had enough production for the week. Look, that's where.
So I want to ask you a question.
Ask me anything. Ask me the craziest question you have, Ryan.
Craziest question. Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't vegans like blowjobs?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just a thing that I've heard in the grapevines that vegans don't like blowjobs. I don't know.
Why? What?
Is it a thing? Is it not a thing? Like, I don't know.
Do that? I haven't asked any. I don't know. They wouldn't come out like that.
It's like when people say with horses,
yo, vegan, do you blowjob?
I've got like a tally chart saying, yeah, no, she didn't like it. Yeah, she liked it. She didn't like it. So. So it's like when people say
because meat in your. I'm sure. Okay, here's the.
It might not even be a thing. I've just heard it a few times.
I think I would say vegans would let meat touch them, but they wouldn't necessarily.
They wouldn't like it.
They don't want to eat the dick. They will maybe
just lick the dick.
Touch it sensitively.
Touch it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like when people. I've heard that I've heard people say, chicks that like horse ride and stuff like that. They're always like the horniest girls. I don't know if that's a thing. I can agree on some of that.
I don't know if I can.
That's what
I don't know if I agree with that. Well,
have you ever dated a girl that did horse riding?
I almost feel like almost all the girls I've dated have very much been into horse riding. It's a strange phenomenon that happens around me. It just tends to seem like most of the girls I like, then all of a sudden say, I love horses and it's my best thing in the world. And every time I'm like, what?
Dude, you should be the one answering this question.
So crazy. But I would say they what? Yeah,
No names, no nothing like that. Okay,
all
okay.
very decent
Decent human beings.
sexual
Okay, we'll-
endeavors.
Okay, we'll move on. Okay. So, yeah.
What about film, the motion picture? Where are we at? When are we working together again, Ryan? What's our next project together? Hey,
That's a good thing. I don't know. Whatever comes up.
it's either your or my next film.
Yeah.
That's our next project together.
Yeah.
But that probably comes through brainstorming.
Yeah.
In the corners of dark
I
pubs.
thought was funny. The other week when we went for a drink, and when we were sitting at the place and we had pizza, and as we're sitting there, actually, when we walked into this restaurant, I remember seeing these two girls, and these two girls, you didn't see them, but as I walked in, I saw them like pointing over at us, and I was like pretending I didn't see them, no. And.
Look at those two guys looking funny. Those guys look funny. Look at that. Look at that, Jessica.
And and then we sat down, and we had our food, and then it was like those like two promo girls that came over, and they offered us whatever special cocktail drink or whatever it was, and then about like 10, 15, 20 minutes later, there was that one girl that that came up to us, and she said, she went up to you and she's like, can she have your number? I just really like your energy, and you seem like a really nice guy. And I thought it was so nice and so sweet.
It was
that
cute,
you could see that she was, she probably sat there with a friend going, I don't know if I should do it. I don't know if I should try and get this number. She built up the courage, and then she came out, and then you were like, which you were very nice and you were very humble and everything like that. Nice, but basically you said no because of the age difference, because there was a big age difference.
Yeah, I was just
and she thought you were a lot younger.
Yeah.
But it was shame. It was so nice, and you complimented, saying, hey, thank you for coming up. And then I remember afterwards, it's almost like we said you wanted to say to her, like, just because you didn't give the number, that you would want her to not feel like she got the knockback. So she would, ask the next guy next time, or because you don't want to damage the. That's why I think most guys, they don't want to get the knockback. And then, as I said on the previous podcast, it's like when you get a compliment. I think girls get a lot of compliments, but I think with guys, we don't always get like a lot of compliments. And then when we do, we remember. Like, I'm sure you'll remember that time. When we sat there, where it was just like, oh, that was so nice.
Yeah,
it was so nice. Even though there was nothing there, but it was so nice that somebody thought that of you. That liked the way you looked, or liked the energy that you were putting out there.
Yeah, like my vibe, man. That was beautiful, but like you say, I wouldn't want that not working out, or
you just ruined the fucking life, dude.
The age difference was just too vast.
She's never gonna ask another guy again.
Yeah, and I just didn't want to like that to break her confidence, because it was so beautiful. And like you said, I feel some of us need more confidence.
So you will remember it for the rest of your life that you got that compliment, and then she will remember it for the rest of her life because she got the knockback.
Well, probably that's the yin yang of life, right?
No, you were super nice. You were super nice to her.
So. Oh, appreciate it, man. Well, I love people. Yeah. I love people and their things, even though they're weird and quirky and funny sometimes. I love them, man. I love them, as I do you, my brother.
You too, man. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for this. Yeah. This has been lovely. This together with everything else is just more practice for what's about to come, for the power that we harness within ourselves, and then we are able to communicate it and create things with this vast knowledge, man. I love it. Thanks for laying it down for us also.
Pleasure, dude. Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right. Dankie.
Cool.
Wow. Fishies!